cop insurrectionists. This is a problem. This is a real problem. Do you know how many police officers went to the US Capitol and committed an act of domestic terrorism? Do you know how many? No, you don't, because nobody does, but a lot of them did. We're still counting and figuring out how many were involved. But we do know of this particular cop insurrectionist who throws his son under the bus to justify his huge weapon stash. So there's a former Rocky Mount, Virginia police officer, a January 6th participant, Thomas T.J. Robertson, appeared in federal court Wednesday on accusations of having violated the conditions of his bond. So this person already has a bond, has conditions. He violates them according to the report. This federal hearing ended Wednesday morning without a ruling from the judge, who said his ruling would later come in the form of a written order after more time to weigh the following testimony and evidence. On June 30th, prosecutors filed a motion to revoke Robertson's bond after a search of his Ferrum home found firearms and explosive devices. Prosecutors contend Robertson violated the conditions of his release. Well, I would imagine so, damn it. You're talking about a guy has firearms and bombs inside of his house, and he's on probation. I mean, he's on bond, okay? During the Wednesday hearing, Robertson's son, Hunter Robertson, testified that he owned the M4 rifle that the FBI found in his father's home. It gets deeper. Prosecutor Elizabeth Aloy told District Judge Christopher Cooper that Hunter Robertson's testimony was inconsistent with statements made to the FBI when the gun was seized, but that she would not push the issue further for the moment because of other items such as a pipe bomb, a grenade, and silencers that were also found in the home. No, Madam Prosecutor, I need you to push it all. No, you need to get the son too, okay? That's obstruction. You need to get him lying in the official capacity of the investigation. Get him too. Don't be light on these folks just because there are other heavy things at play. Robertson's attorney, Mark Rowlands, contended that the grenade and the pipe bomb were items Robertson used to give training to other police officers, and that no issues had been raised regarding those items when federal authorities first searched his home and seized his guns in January. So understand what's happening here. You have a former police officer who committed an act of domestic terrorism. He gets caught, he gets a bond. He violates his condition of bond by having these weapons and bombs in his house. According to the attorney, federal authorities already went in his house and saw these bombs and did nothing to him. I believe that attorney. That doesn't mean what this individual did is not unlawful. It just means you have a deeper issue permeating in the legal justice system. So what does this former cop do? He doesn't take responsibility for his actions. He blames part of it on his son, getting him to change his testimony officially. And then he blames the rest of it on other cops that aren't even present. That's how he decides to handle this. Let's put up the picture. Yeah. The prosecutor stated, however, what those devices were for didn't matter. Simply possessing them was in violation of his bond conditions. This is a photo of Robertson. He's the man on the right, and the other, a former officer named Jacob Fracker, the man on the left inside of the US Capitol on January 6th. Let me do this. I know there's a lot to this story, but we got some of those pictures. Okay. These are officers, police officers, who were involved in an act of domestic terrorism. Remember, at one point in their lives, they took an oath to protect and serve me and you. That's just a few pictures. There are a whole lot more. what is going on in the culture of policing to where this is acceptable behavior among themselves. Ms. Dahl, what are your thoughts about this?
First of all, his arguments, of course, it's a violation of his bond. And so one of the comments his attorney makes also is, he will comply with anything in the future. You got his attention. And my thought on that was, defendants don't really usually get that right to decide when or not to comply. So it was a little bit of an entitled statement, I thought, on his part. But yeah, I mean, it is so deep. And the fact that we talked about these two stories together, right? The first police officer in Detroit and then this and the insurrection. And we just really have to question, what is happening here with our police force and our military? Like, how embedded is this? But, you have to do it one case at a time. And this case is getting brought. I agree with you. The prosecutor should be kind of throwing the book if the son also committed perjury. And he did violate his bond. I imagine the judge will come back and show that. And his attorney's argument that, this is hard for him and isolation and all that kind of stuff. Welcome to being a defendant in the criminal justice system in America. You lose a lot of your rights. And I mean, you don't lose a lot of your rights, but it's not easy. And I feel like he has not come to terms with that from his attorney statements.
Well said. Let's also put up on the screen the former police officers we've been able to identify who committed an act of domestic terrorism that day as well. Look at them. That's your future of policing if you don't get this together. I'm talking to everybody in America.